So let's continue our series about the Games Workshop and Citadel paints, covering this last range, and we kept it for last because it is the most all over the place, and it is the technical range. So the technical, I kind of forgot it. If you watched the kind of the introduction video to this whole series, I kind of missed the technical, and the reason is really because technical is out there. It's a bunch of stuff, right? So it's hard. It's a little bit harder to cover in a concise way, but so we'll try to kind of break it down here. So there are essentially three types in the technical. Now they don't tell you which is which, so you have to learn it. But I'm going to tell you, so now you'll know. Okay. So the first part of the technical range is the medium, and medium and varnish. And there's essentially three varnishes and two mediums, or three mediums if you bear with me. So there's the art coat is the shiny varnish, right? The what the gloss. It's nailed it. The gloss one, like this one, and there's supposed to be an in-betweener, which is usually called some like either clear or satin varnish. And I think this one is called, I think, Storm Shield. The Games Workshop one, I believe it's Hard Coat and Storm Shield that you can get. So the Hard Coat is a glossy one. So this one I really enjoy because I use it for lenses and stuff. So you can put like just a tiny dot into lenses to make them a little bit more pop. So I like that a lot. And then the medium, there's the air medium, which is for the air paint, the contrast medium, which is for the contrast paint, and the Lamian medium, which is for the regular everyday paints. And medium is really an interesting thing because it's hard to justify buying the Games Workshop one. The contrast one's probably the most interesting in terms of mediums because the contrast medium is kind of a little bit unique, but the Lamian medium is essentially acrylic medium, and so every paint range offers this, including like hobby paint. So you can get something like Liquitex or PBO or a bunch of other names, and they sell that like in like redneck jugs, like with the X's on it, big old jug, and that will last you till forever because it's essentially always the same thing. Same thing for I think the Games Workshop one's called the Aircast Thinner for the air paint. You can buy that in like any airbrush like thinner or something is also, as long as it's acrylic, is going to be roughly similar. And these ones are kind of nasty because they're $9 for a small one. So the medium is one thing, and then varnish is the second kind of category, if you will, is basing supply. And this, if you were into the Games Workshop, if you were into the Games Workshop paints a couple years ago, when these were released, they were called texture, and then at some point they rebranded into technical because they're to do a technical effect. But these are also, they come in a wide variety of things. There's we'll say three kinds. Some of it is, the one I don't have here is essentially sand. It's basically sand and paint mixed together, so you get like a weird textured putty, and then you can build like swamps and dunes and whatnot with it. So there's a Martian colored one, a brown one, and a yellow one. And of course you're free to paint over those, so you can wash them or you can dry brush them with your dry paint and whatnot. So there's a bunch of those. And then there's the crackling ones, and this one here, Mordant, is my favorite of the crackling one. So this makes like, crackled hurt, like a crackled ground or whatever, like the desert and whatnot, like wasteland. This one is is like lava made easy. You paint your base, red, orange, and yellow, and you slap this on, and then it kind of breaks and it reveals the color underneath. And again, you can dry brush on top of this because it's a very toothpaste looking thing, so it's like not super flat. So, and again, there's a couple of colors. There's a Martian one and there's a brown beige bone colored one as well. And then the last one is actually one of my favorite. It's Valhalla Blizzard, and this is snow in a bottle essentially. This is essentially snow and varnish kind of mixed together, so you get like a paste, and as it dries it makes snow. This is one of the better ones I found that works straight out of the pot. I'm a Snow is one of my favorite like basing kind of add-on. I think it's an easy thing, probably because I'm Canadian. And this one, straight out of the bottle, is one of the best one. You don't really have to mix it. Usually, that's kind of the things you have to do a little chemistry and mix a couple of products to use like snow, or you use like crushed glass, and that stuff is like the devil. It looks really nice though, but it's the devil. And but this one really nice, straight out of the pot. It's just fun one to use. So I've been very very pleased with this one. This is straight out of the box. You can mix. There's 17 different ways to make snow. This is the easy one where you just take a big ass brush and it's done. Because this is the same thing as like gloss varnish and snow effect, and like good quality snow effect, because like they're not all created equal. So that's why I like this one, and not because it's like, I have some crushed glass somewhere, and then the ice water from Woodland Scenics and whatnot. Like you can mix your own little thing. This is just the easy version. And again, same thing with Morton Hurt. Now the drawback of these ones, especially the crackling ones, is first of all there's a lot of equivalents. I think AK is the main one, and then MIG also has one, like Ammo, MIG, kind of the same thing. And a bunch of other companies, they sell those by the jug. And you think, and Vallejo has some as well. Thank you. Twitch chat coming in clutch here. The main issue is these are like, this is again in Canadian is $9, and then you can buy like a freaking jug for like 20 or something. But this here, it's gonna take you 3. One of my buddy, he made a his army was 3.5, and he was not using it like super wildly, but to do a full army it was 3.5. So 3.5 is like 32 or something dollars. So if you buy a jug from like any of the other brands, up front it costs more, but that's what you need over, like God forbid thinking about like a display board with this, right? So that's kind of the drawback, is that this one is probably the more, because overall, like we didn't cover this, but overall the Gamers Workshop paint is pretty reasonably priced in this whole like spectrum of things. This one is probably the least value one. And again, the snow one, I have never found an equivalent anywhere, but the crackling ones and the pasty one, like the sand stuff, really there's a lot of equivalents. So these one are a little bit harder sales. But if it's all you can find, that's what they do, and they're practical for it. And then the last aspect of these technical, is the crazy stuff. Okay, and now this is where we're already into 2 very different kind of products, and now we're entering another kind, which is the weird stuff, and the weird stuff is all over the place. Okay, so there's a bunch of those. I only have the Typhus Corrosion like here, but there's at least 5. So Typhus Corrosion is essentially paint, like super liquid brown paint with a little bit of sand in it. It's great to make rust. It will destroy your brush. Each of these is kind of made to make like a very specific effect straight out of the pot. The other 2 most popular ones, one is Blood for the Blood God, which is blood effects, as you can tell. And then the third one that's really popular is Nurgle's Rot, which is essentially snot. So this one here is one of my all-time favorite. I think I have like 4 pots here and there. I use this a lot. Like I think Tank Tracks is like the best thing ever. This makes Tank Tracks the easiest way. It's one of my favorites. However, again, it will destroy your brush no matter what you do. The blood one is, again, take it or leave it. There's a bunch of ways to do blood. Again, this is really, really easy because you just use it straight out of the pot. That's the Games Workshop way. And then the snot one is also pretty good at doing snot. I've seen it used on bases a lot. The main problem, again, is the size, where it's fun, but since it only comes in a small, like regular size, you can't use like you can't make big puddles of the Nurgly snot. So the technical range is very, very interesting because it's all of those like cool little effects that you want to do, but you also need to kind of know what it is before you buy it, because it's not really a given. Like they don't really tell you what this stuff is. You have to kind of be taught, because you can't expect, I bought this, Agrelin Hurt, for example, which is one of the pasty sand thing. So, but I wanted black, so I'm gonna buy Morden Hurt instead, to do it black. Well, that's not, you know, that's not sand and texture. This is just crackling paint. So it's another one of those weird ones where you kind of have to do a little bit of research. Now, all of them, so you get a good idea, and eventually we'll make a tutorial about each and every single one of them if need be. And then these ones, again, I've told you my three favorites are these ones by far. The snow, the snow is so far unfuckwittable. I've never found an equivalent. More Than Hurt is my favorite, but again, I'm pretty sure there's equivalents to it elsewhere. I just don't know them. And same thing, Typhus Corrosion. Never seen this elsewhere. Do something similar. I use this a whole lot, and all the other ones are a lot. I think the equivalents are slightly usually better or more affordable for larger scale, right? If you do single minis or like a little warband or something, you won't have a problem with this. But as soon as you're starting into, we're gonna make an army, this format for all the base product is really hard if you have access to these equivalents. It's not because it's like the best or the only way. It's just, this is easy. That's the point.